Have you ever noticed that the more you chase after something, the more it seems to slip through your fingers, that the more desperately you seek peace, the more restless you become? What if I told you that the truth you're looking for is already here, in this exact moment, waiting only for you to stop searching? We live in a culture obsessed with seeking. Since childhood, we've been programmed to pursue success, happiness, enlightenment, purpose. We wake up every day with that uncomfortable feeling that something is missing, that we need to become someone different, achieve something greater. And so we begin the endless journey of seeking answers in books, courses, retreats, therapies, relationships. We run from one place to another, accumulating techniques, practices, and philosophies, hoping we'll finally find that missing piece of our existence's puzzle. But Alan Watts confronts us with a disconcerting truth. What if all this seeking is exactly what prevents us from finding? What if the very act of searching creates the illusion that something is lost? Think about this for a moment. When you're seeking something, you automatically place yourself in a position of lack, of incompleteness. Seeking presupposes that you don't have, that you're separated from what you desire. It's like looking for your glasses while they're on your face. You search the entire house, get frustrated, desperate, but the answer was with you all along. Truth, according to Watts, works the same way. It's not hidden somewhere distant, waiting to be discovered after years of spiritual effort. It's here, now, so obvious that we pass right by it simply because we're too busy searching. Eastern philosophy, especially the Zen Buddhism that so influenced Watts, has always understood this paradox. There's a famous story of a monk who spent decades in monasteries, studying sacred texts, meditating for hours, seeking enlightenment. One day, exhausted and frustrated, he simply stopped. He sat under a tree, surrendered completely, abandoned all expectation of finding anything. And it was in that moment of total surrender that enlightenment happened, not because he finally did something right, but because he stopped doing. He stopped seeking, stopped trying to become enlightened, and in that pause, in that empty space, truth simply appeared. But here's the modern dilemma. How can you stop seeking when everything around you tells you to seek more? We live in a society that has turned even spirituality into another item on the achievement list. Go to India, take that mindfulness course, master meditation, find your purpose, achieve inner peace. And suddenly the spiritual journey itself becomes another source of anxiety, another race to become better, more conscious, more enlightened. Do you see the trap? We've transformed the search for liberation into yet another prison. Perhaps you've already felt this. Those moments when you were so focused on finding happiness that you forgot to live, or when you were so obsessed with knowing yourself that you lost touch with who you already are. It's exhausting, isn't it? This constant feeling of chasing something, of never being enough, of always needing one more book, one more technique, one more insight. And deep down, very deep down, there's a voice whispering, what if I'm already complete? What if there's nothing to find because there was never anything lost? If you're feeling a strange relief hearing this, if something inside you is recognizing this truth, you're not alone. Millions of people are trapped in this same cycle, believing the answer is always in the next step, the next level, the next achievement. And if you've made it this far in this video, there's a reason. Something in you is ready to hear a different truth. Subscribe to the channel, because this journey will take you to places you didn't even imagine existed within you. Now, let's go deeper. Alan Watts said something revolutionary. The problem is that you're trying to be yourself. Sounds absurd, doesn't it? How can you try to be what you already are? But that's exactly what we do. We create a mental image of who we should be, how we should feel, what kind of consciousness we should have, and then we spend our entire lives trying to force ourselves into that mold. And the more we try, the more we distance ourselves from our true nature. The truth is, you cannot become yourself because you already are. You cannot achieve consciousness because you already are consciousness. You cannot find truth because you are truth. The problem was never the absence of the answer, but the belief that it was absent. And this belief has been fed by centuries of religious, philosophical, and psychological conditioning that taught us we are incomplete beings who need to be fixed, saved, or enlightened. But what happens when you simply stop? When you abandon all the seeking, all the trying, all the effort? At first, it can be terrifying, because seeking has become your identity. If you're not seeking, who are you? If you're not working on yourself, what are you doing? There's a deep fear that if you stop, you'll discover there's nothing there. But Watts invites us to have the courage to do exactly that. Stop completely and see what remains. And what remains is surprising. When you stop seeking peace, there's a natural quietness that was always present beneath all the noise. When you stop seeking happiness, there's a contentment that doesn't depend on external circumstances. When you stop seeking meaning, life itself reveals a meaning that doesn't need to be explained or justified. It's like waking up from a dream where you were running desperately and realizing you were always home. But there's an even deeper secret that few know. Alan Watts realized something that most spiritual teachers don't dare say. There is no path because there's nowhere to go. The entire spiritual journey is a well-intentioned farce. You're not separated from truth trying to reconnect with it. You were never separated. The separation was just a convincing story you learned to tell yourself. This changes everything. It means you don't need more practices, more knowledge, more effort. You don't need to become more conscious, more enlightened, more anything. You can completely relax into what you already are. And this, my friend, is true freedom. Not the freedom of finally achieving something, but the freedom of realizing there was never anything to achieve. Applying this in real life doesn't mean abandoning responsibilities or stopping growth. It means doing things without the neurotic tension of always proving yourself, always trying to get somewhere. You continue living, working, relating, but without carrying that invisible weight of inadequacy. You can meditate, but not to become enlightened. You can read philosophy, but not to find answers. You can do therapy, but not to fix yourself. You do these things for the pure pleasure of the experience, not as steps on an imaginary ladder to a better future. And here's the final paradox, the revelation that will turn your mind inside out. When you truly stop seeking truth, when you completely abandon the journey, something extraordinary happens. Truth doesn't just appear, it reveals that it was never separated from you. It was here all along, as the space in which everything happens, as the consciousness that witnesses each moment, as the life pulsing in your chest right this second. You are what you're seeking. You always have been. The search was just an elaborate way of avoiding recognizing this. Because if you truly accepted that you're already complete, that you already have everything, that there was never any problem at all, the entire structure of your identity, built around the idea of "I need to improve," would crumble. And that crumbling is liberating in a way that no spiritual achievement could ever be. So here's Alan Watts' invitation echoing through time. Stop. Just for a moment, stop all the seeking. Stop trying to become someone better. Stop looking for answers. And in the silence that follows, simply notice what's already here. The consciousness reading these words, the life that's happening, the presence that was never absent. That's all. It always was all. The true journey is not towards somewhere, but the recognition that you never left home. And when you truly see this, not intellectually, but with every fiber of your being, something settles. The struggle ceases, and you can finally live, not as someone trying to find life, but as life itself expressing in human form. If this message touched something deep within you, if you felt that inexplicable relief of finally hearing a truth you always knew but never dared believe, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who's also tired of seeking, because sometimes the most revolutionary thing we can do is simply stop, and in the pause discover that there was never anything to do, no one to become, nowhere to arrive. You're already home. You always have been.